Hey, welcome you guys. This is Brad here again, and in this video, we're going to be exploring our still life, but this video is like a parallel video with my other still life painting tutorial for acrylic. And this is basically a supplemental video for my painting 2 and 3 classes. So it kind of goes along with my painting 1 video, but the reason why I didn't want to put all of it into one video is because it would just take way too long to put all of these ideas in there. So, and also some of these things I'm going to talk about in this video are things that painting 1 students don't have to know right off the bat. Okay, so this is going to be some more ideas and some techniques and things that I might throw at this one that you don't necessarily need to have for the first painting class. All right, so this is basically for my painting 2 and 3, my advanced painting students. And so last night I sketched this out. So basically right now, because I haven't filmed it for you guys, I guess I could use the other footage, but I won't. I'm just going to skip right to the chase. I'm going to assume that if you're in painting 2 or 3, that you probably have some drawing experience and you have some painting experience. So I'm going to skip over that right now. So what I did was I set up a still life, you know, some inanimate objects. I've arranged them and I put it on this little table right here. I have my easel set up with a little, I think this is 11 by 14 canvas. It's like pre-stretched, ready-made canvas. And so I sketched out my still life. I don't know if you guys can see it here. You'll see it here in just a moment, but this is my drawing from it. And so I was drawing it last night, and to be honest with you, I was having a tough time drawing. Normally I draw I'm pretty confident in my drawing abilities, but I was like struggling. I was like, my proportions were off and everything else. And I liked to share that with my beginning students because, you know, oftentimes we see things like on social media or YouTube and stuff, and it's like only your highlights. But, you know, really, like there's some struggle that goes on with art, and I want you guys to be aware of that. And so I've kind of shaped the proportions, and I got it good enough. There is some issues, and if you looked at this very closely, you looked at my drawing versus the still life, you'd say, oh, that's off a little bit here and there. Well, it is, but I think I can live with it. So if I wanted to, you know, absolutely have it like photo realistic, I could change it to absolutely have those kind of proportions. But the reality is I don't think it's necessary for most drawings, and I think, or for most paintings or drawings. And I like a little bit of funk in there, just a little bit. It's going to be off a little bit, and also I'm going to be able to correct things as it goes. So this painting that I've got going on, it has this, like, as I was drawing it out, and it seemed to me like I liked this idea as it was coming to me of this, there's this like kind of redemption that's going on in this still life or in this painting. That's kind of like how, you know, when I set it up, that's kind of what I was kind of feeling a little bit. And so I kind of want it to be like off a little bit in some like conceptual way, like not, do you know what I don't know if you guys know what I mean, but like I want it to be like not perfect, and I'm gonna like make it like messy. I might even do some crazy things to it that you're like, why would you do that, and mess it up intentionally a little bit more, so I have an opportunity to go back and fix it too. And I think that that's going to show up in the work, and I think it's only going to enhance like the conceptual, you know, qualities of this painting. At least that's my hope. And I have no idea, like I'm 3 hours into it, like I've spent like, you know, half hour, 45 minutes or something setting up a still life, like playing around, getting that, you know, because that's a big part of it too. So don't rush through that. Like, you know, especially if you're in painting 2 and 3, those things are really important. So think about how you want, like what kind of narrative or what kind of message that you want your still life to convey. And it can just simply be aesthetics, and there's nothing wrong with that. But even so, like there's conceptual ideas that and philosophies around that, and so you have to kind of explore that, you know, at least on some level. So anyway, I'm also going into the subject matter as well as the aesthetics. So that's where I'm at on this one. So I do like the fact that it's going to be kind of like a little bit not perfect. I'm going to paint over sections of it, kind of mess it up, and like refine it as it goes along. So hopefully that adds to the overall appeal to this still life. Okay, so I'm not going to talk much more about it right now, but I wanted to just make another video that's kind of separate just for my painting 2 and 3, my advanced painting classes. So you get, and also if you're in my painting 1 class, feel free to watch this, but this is mostly just like additional stuff that you'll kind of tackle later on down the road if you don't do it right now. Okay, so let's keep going. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but my proportions are off a little bit. And this all got, when I had this, like this isn't great, but I'm hoping to adjust some of it with the paint itself. And, you know, I got things off a little bit there. I think this is a little bit larger than this, you know, like I said, it's not perfect, but I think it's going to be good enough. And you can also tell, like, as I was drawing on this last one, you can tell like where I've had to move this, like part of it was right there and kind of ended. So I've had to shift it around, and there's nothing wrong with that. Basically what I've used for this is a like a 9B pencil for sketching out a lot of it, and then different Bs too. So it gets nice and dark, and I'm going to hopefully some of that graphite kind of mixes in with the very wet acrylic paint that I'm going to layer on there, and just kind of you'll see how it goes. But I'm basically going to experiment a little bit. I kind of have a plan, you know, kind of traditional methods, you know, of like kind of layering, you know, doing like an understudy, like painting like this all like within really like dark, you know, people use blacks, or I like to use like a burnt umber or something, or burnt umber and like some blue into it, and some really dark darks, and you can kind of just do like a tonal study underneath it and then layer lights on top. I might do that to a certain degree. In fact, I probably will, but I'm also going to do some other stuff too. I'm going to kind of just throw the kitchen sink at this, so to speak. Okay, so all right, so here we are right now. I just basically got some really dark blackish color on here, kind of just mapping that out. That way these don't move around as I, at least they don't move around unintentionally. So yeah, it just helps keep this graphite from moving around. So really at this point, this is just kind of dropping in just a mixture of basically some, you know, burnt umber and ultramarine blue. There's a little orange in there too. And you can see the different kind of values you get. And you kind of tell like some of those brush strokes, I'm leaving those in there. I think that adds some texture, some just kind of visual interest into it, instead of just painting everything like super flat. I'm going to keep layering on top of this. This is just kind of that underpainting part of it. So I might do more translucent layers on top of it. But this was just kind of done just wet on wet, basically, like mixing wet paint into wet paint. That's how I was able to blend those out. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Okay, so at this point, you're probably going to be wondering, what the heck am I doing? And that's a good question. But sometimes I like just to put down the wrong color first, and so I can paint over it, and it gives you some like that layer. So when I paint over this, I might have like just like parts of that orange coming through. It's still going to be mostly blue, like 99.9% blue over it, but maybe parts of that orange is going to come through in just some kind of neat ways. And I'm also going to change these wheels. They're going to end up being white in the end. I don't want that bright orange to compete over here. Plus I have some of that orange. This orange is up here in this like blanket. So I'm going to try to unify this a little bit. And I'm also going to bring some of this orange like up into this skull too. So, and I'll probably bring it down a little bit into these areas. It's like, what in the world? I'm going to paint over it. All right. So that's the idea. Okay. Okay, so I've been just kind of playing around with this. The other nice thing about this, these are blue and orange are complementary colors. And so besides just being able to bring this orange throughout the rest of the orange that's up in here, it's in this blanket, and I'm going to use it like for doing work in the skull, but it also kind of brings it and unites it throughout the whole painting. But the nice thing is also that it is the complementary color to this. So when you paint blue on top of orange, if you're going to do it like layers and it darkens it up. And so you can see that's kind of what's happening there. This is those shadows. So it's this blue and orange, and that's kind of what you get down there. I'm going to paint over it like more opaquely too, but it is nice to kind of just rough in your values that way and kind of establish just some of those shadows. And then I've put in some of the shadows. I just brought some of this paint and I just kind of just dry brush kind of over some of these areas because I know they're darks. So it's just a nice way to kind of unify your painting. All right, so at this stage I dropped in a little bit of that green from the hummingbird. I just put that in. Now you're like, it's pretty loose. This is not finished, right? You know, so keep that in mind. And I also put in a little green. I kind of saw it's not really so green, but if you kind of look at it a little bit, there's some green kind of in those planets. And so I kind of dropped a touch of that in there. And again, I'm going to keep working over it, but I just kind of want just a touch of that. But you have to put it in there to get those touches. Just pure white over the top of this again, but you know, it's nice to actually have something to kind of work over and to really work. Even if you paint something wrong, it's nice in a way. And so right now I just want to show you guys, I'm kind of painting these like warms and cools. And so I'm just taking some of these colors that I've worked with up here and in here. And so I've got like a lot of oranges and purples, and I'm kind of using my warm, like purple and blue as my cool and my warm as my orange. And so you can kind of see that too, like in this area it's a little bit cooler, it's like a cooler like bluish gray, and in this area it's a little bit warmer. So that's where I'm kind of putting the oranges, and this is where I'm doing like the blues. And so that's why you're starting to see some of this kind of happen. And I'm, you know, obviously this isn't right yet, but it's nice just to kind of put stuff in here, and then we can always develop it as we're going. Oh no, what happened? My work has been vandalized, and I did it. That's right. So anyway, um, can you see that? Yeah, I got out some orange and red spray paint and just tagged it. Um, and I did that because I wanted to kind of destroy this thing and then fix it. And so, mission accomplished. So now I'm going to go back in and try to fix my mistakes. And I did that so you know, part of that I think I was alluding to this at the beginning, like of the video when I said I want to do something different just to kind of show, like, you know, how this like works. And so I think just by destroying it and showing it like kind of gonna overcome this thing, and you know, I'm gonna try to, you know, give this painting some new life to it. So hopefully that happens, and it's going to. I know it. It's gonna happen. And so okay, so now we're entering our third day. I don't think we're gonna finish it today, and we might need one more day after this. But our first day was, you know, setting everything up, drawing it, getting it all on there. Second day, yesterday, we, you know, we got to this point, and so today we're gonna hopefully make some big decisions, go over stuff, and get it mostly done. And then I'm hoping we'll do one more day, like a day 4, and put some finishing touches on it. So hopefully over this next session, for the next like 2 hours or whatever, we are going to make some progress on that. And who knows, maybe we'll get on a roll and we'll finish it. But I'm kind of thinking it might take 4 days to do this one. So anyway, let's go. Here's another progress shot here. You know, as I was kind of working some of this blue back into here, I also kind of like found some of that blue to kind of bring up into there as well. Just little specks and dots to try to kind of represent what's going on over there. I've also kind of brought some down into the skull, and same with when I've been working with these tones, I've brought some of it down in here. And so, yeah, I mean, it's coming along. I'm going to go take a quick break, and you guys should take breaks too while you're working. You know, if you kind of find yourself at a spot where, you know, you need to take a break, you're aware of time or you're hungry or whatever, go take a break and then just get right back to it. That's what I'm going to do. So at this point, I'm going back in and I'm redrawing some of the stuff that was lost after I spray painted. I painted over this again, but I'm redrawing some of this back in just because my proportions were off a little bit. I had to extend this out. I've moved this over a little bit. And so same with in here. And so I'm drawing with both black and white and paints and whatever colors I happen to have on my brush. I just kind of use anything like warms and cools, like in that area right there. And I'm trying to get that right. And so some of the things I've been doing is just like slowly modeling this and bringing in definition with just light. This is like a brush that has a very thin paint on it. It's like watered down, just a dark. So this is kind of the end of day 3. You know, I was kind of hoping to get a little bit further along, but it's looking pretty good. All right, so I'm in day 4 of the painting. I might not finish it up in my day 4 because my day 4 session was a lot shorter because I have to go do some other things right now. So maybe I can find some other time today to squeeze in a little bit more painting and so I can finish up on like a day 4. But you know what, if it takes more time, like if I have to finish up on a day 5, then so be it. And I want to let you guys know that that's a really good option for you as well. I'm going to give you guys a couple weeks to work on this project. And so if you need more time to work on it, take as much time as you need to make sure that it looks good and that you are happy with the result. I think a lot of times people don't finish things, and I think that's what makes the biggest difference. And it's made a big difference in my life just as an artist and a lot of other things. And you know, I've met so many really talented artists, people that have better drawing and painting abilities than me, people that are better musicians, and every aspect of like kind of creative, like writing and stuff. But a lot of times they don't see it through to the end. You know, and that and I get that. I understand that too. There's a lot of projects I've left high and dry and never finished. But the one thing I want to encourage you guys to do is to see it through to the end. And I think that's what's made the biggest difference for me in my art and why I've had any success at all, is that I just didn't stop. I just kept going and kept seeing it through to the end. It's still day 4. I had to sneak away. So this is really like 5 sessions though, even though I did it on 4 days. But finished it up this evening, and I'm happy with it. I think it looks really good. And I know yours is going to look good too. We just have to make sure that you see it through to the end and you finish it. You know, if things are bothering you, you know, make those changes. Don't just settle for them. And I think if you do that, you'll be happy with the overall experience and the product in the end. I think we get kind of complacent when you're like, it's good enough. Don't do that. See it through to the end, and you're going to be happy with the result. I mean, this painting did give me some problems along the way. Sometimes paintings do that. In fact, most often do. But you just kind of fight through it and see it through to the end, and then they turn out. So anyway, it's a cool one. I think this is a keeper. This one might be my favorite one for the quarter. So we'll just have to see. It's definitely better than that non-objective painting, right? So we're heading in the right direction. We'll see you next time when we tackle, what are we doing? Landscape? Yeah, when we'll do landscape. See you next time. Bye.